and then discipline you. So see, what the moron does, these American morons did, they thought that they got away with everything in slavery. Well, who told you got away with it? Who is anyone to say you deserve to get away with it? Hey, I mean, everybody wants to play God, but who say they deserve to get away with that? Well, have any real repercussions come from it to white America? So just as a kid, you thought you got away with it. Yeah, you thought you got away with what you did, and there'll be no whipping. There'll be no whooping, like we say in the South. Not a whipping, a whooping. And you're going to get a whooping, not a whipping. Yeah, you gave my ancestors a whipping, and now you're going to get a whooping. See the difference? You whipped my ancestors, and now you're getting a whooping. A whooping is more severe, by the way. Oh, it's going to be more severe in your case. Well, you thought you was going to get away with all you did in slavery because, hey, it wasn't you after all who did it. Now, was it? Well, that's life. Sometimes it's not you for why you got to suffer. It's because of somebody else. Somebody else did something. And that's why you have to figure these equations out early so that you remove the person or people that's causing a negative sum total in from these equations. See, the white man in America has been bringing about negative equations that's bringing repercussions on everyone. So, in other words, we're still on the plantation, and now it's time for the slave master to reap what he gets. But instead of you realizing this is not your country, instead of you realizing you're still on the plantation, and that this is an environment of death and evil against black people, it always has been and it always will be. So instead of realizing that the sky is falling and things are falling apart for the slave master in his little country that he set up to enslave you, instead of looking at it like that, you think this is your country. So when did you go from it being your country and not from you being a slave to it being your country? Oh, the emancipation. Okay. But how are you treated? You treated like royalty or you treated like a slave still? So you're still, all in all, treated like a slave. You're still, all in all, looked at the same way. That's an equation, right? So that equation of you being seen the same way and treated the same way brings about a negative sum total for you for no reason. So if you're black, how can you cause this your country when you are constantly getting a negative sum total? Let that resonate. You're always getting a negative sum total. No matter how positive you are, no matter how nice you are, how good you are, no matter how hard of a worker you are, you're always getting these negative sum totals. So guess what? Guess what? Here's the punchline. No worries, because here's the punchline. That sum total, that negative sum total, in that case where you're innocent, now creates an equation with the sum total included, I like to say negative 251, with the country of America, with the white America, and that's going to bring about another negative sum total for everyone. So you can't act like this is your country when that happens. Now, if you're slow, say you're slow, because everybody can't get it. But the facts are this: these sum totals that I'm talking about are real. God knows how much has been done. Now, check this out. He knows how much has been done, how often it's been done. He knows how much negative he knows all the numbers of all the negative equations, the numbers of things they've done, the number of racist remarks, racist things said, truly racist things said, and truly racist things done. He knows the whole sum total. And he adds, you know what the other part of the equation is? Add America is added, the government is added. And unfortunately, you know, the American community has to be in that equation because this is the environment of the slave master. Hey, it's still slavery. That's why they worry about you working. Hey, they don't care about you having money. They care about you working. I know. You don't want to accept it. They care about you working. They don't care about you having money. Well, they worked my ancestors for free. Cared about them working. Obviously cared about them working. But they're just now giving you as black people a living wage. So this whole time you've been working and you couldn't even stay on your own. That's why some black people can't even get their own apartment. You know why? Because they don't make a living wage. So they don't care about you having money. They care about you working. It's always been like that. Therefore, this is still the plantation. Well, if they're not giving you a living wage, then you're just working. Just so you can please other people. And by saying, well, I do work. Well, yeah, you do work. You also do slave as well. Yeah, it's working / slavery. Well, you're not making a living wage. And you just got around to, for people that do, to most people making a living wage. Someone finally got it. That we've been at the plantation the whole time. They're worried about you working. They're not worried about you having money. You see the difference? Well, you explain to me why you're always on the bottom and they're always on the top. Why there's certain people on the top and you're always on the bottom. They don't think you want to be on top? They don't think that you want to lay around and do nothing all day? They think you just born to work. You just born love working. You just love to work. Then why they ain't doing it? White people ain't doing it like we doing it. White people sit back and let you work. They've been doing it from the very beginning. Why they can't accuse anybody of being lazy when their forefathers sit back and watch my ancestors work. You could never accuse me you can never convince me. Well, you can never accuse me of being lazy for that reason, and you can never convince me, really, of your perspective of anybody being lazy. Really? Because your forefathers sit up and watched everybody, my ancestors work. He sat up and watched everybody else do the physical labor. And then didn't even pay them like a man would. So they care about you working, not having money. They don't care about you, having money. They care about you working, just like they cared about slaves working. So don't let them fool you with, well, every man should be working. Well, you know what that means to me in America? When we have a history of working people, when they have a history of working people for free, that means you just want me on the plantation. That's the way of America. People want to talk about what's the way of America. Taking full ethnicity, taking entire ethnicities and putting them to work for free. That's your history. That is your history. Sitting around here working for free. That's what my ancestors were doing. So that creates a negative sum total that America thought it was going to get by. Just like a child sitting in the room waiting to get a whooping. You thought you was going to get away with it, but you didn't. And now you want to blame an African American on top of that. Well, maybe it's based on what you did to his family. You ever thought about that? Maybe your equation for all you've done to his family equals another negative sum total. Just an educated assumption, observation. So see, you got so many negative sum totals in this world of spiritual mathematics that it's no way in the world you're gonna come out of this. It's no way in the world. Okay? And you can blame other people. You can say that person is a danger to your society. Your society is in danger because of negative sum totals, you moron. You know how many negative sum totals you got, America? You know how many negative ones you got? So you're in danger based off your own actions, in other words. See how I came full circle to explaining it? See, those are mathematics. They always work together. When you're telling the truth and when you know what you're talking about, it's going to come full circle like a revolution. And then it will be a revolution. Boom. So see, you're sitting up trying to find someone. This is your equation. You want to blame everybody else but you and equal, and then the sum total is everybody else it's because of what everybody else did. That's the sum total. Well, we got this problem here because of that. You ever thought about putting yourself in that equation? Did it ever cross your mind to put yourself in the equation of being the problem? You never thought about that, did you? Maybe it's us. You never thought about that, did you? Well, see, I'm here to point that out. That's what makes me the teacher. I'm showing you the spiritual mathematics, and I'm showing you your real problems. Your real problems is Freemasons, the Illuminati, disgruntled white Americans, disgruntled black Americans. They're creating equations that's causing negative sum totals. And this is the best way, perfect way to break it down. Because next time you do something, you'll realize, yes, you'll realize that it's all coming to a sum total, negative sum total. That's all you're not going to get something positive back. And it explains why your country is constantly dying, constantly crying, constantly killing their own kids, marrying children. The highest form of hypocrisy in this war, right here, they're marrying children, putting on a tux for a child. You got a tuxedo on marrying a child. Wow. You're the best tux boy of them all, ain't you? Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous for you as an equation for a man like me. It's a ridiculous equation for you to think with that negative sum total of 44 states married children that you can come teach me about me and tell people who I am and tell me what to do with myself. I can tell you what to do with yourself based on your negative equation, your negative sum totals. You can't tell me about a problem, in other words, when you got one. When you got a problem, how you gonna tell me about mine? It doesn't make sense, right? You don't elevate to a teacher when you got problems. Let that resonate. You up here with a gang of problems trying to be a teacher. Why don't you become a student again? Why don't you go back to summer school and get the teachings that you didn't learn? Because these equations and sum totals are all because of your community. And if you think that you're going to affect these spiritual mathematics and somehow try to explain it some other way, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And see, what you don't understand about God, God can halt all things and just take care of you. Oh, you forgot about that, didn't you? Oh, you playing in the highest league now, big baby. Illuminati done finally went to the top. You in the contest with God now, buddy. Oh, you thought you was in a contest with me. Now, how silly of you. How silly of you. You know I'm a Christian. You think God just going to sit back and let you fight me one-on-one? And all of y'all. He ain't even going to let me do it if I want to do it. You should have knew better than that. What an idiot. So now that's why you have all these negative sum totals. And see, like I said, God could pull up and just take care of you and nothing else happens until you're dead. You know that? I know you're waiting for a brighter day, right? You ever thought that everything might be stopped right now just to kill you? You ain't think about that, did you? Everything can be stopped just to get you. Just to get you. While you waiting for some, you know what the negative people do that create these negative equations and sum totals? Right now they're so in the negative, they're waiting for the Antichrist and the mark of the beast to bail them out. Let that resonate. Oh, I know how you think. That's why I win. That's why I win. You done got so in the negative with your negative equations and negative mathematics that now you're waiting for the Antichrist and the mark of the beast system to bail you out of all the negative sum totals that you created with your negative equations. And here's the punchline. God can stop the Antichrist and the mark of the beast system from bailing you out. Stop that equation. Stop the activity of that equation, bringing about a negative sum total. And stop, on good humanity, stop all of that negative equation and sum total of the mark of the beast and Antichrist coming into the community, stopping that and just taking care of you. God can just take care of you and destroy you and stop all things just to destroy you, because that is what makes him God. See, for all you little American Christians, let me explain something to you. You always talk about the New World Order. You always talk about the mark of the beast. You always talk about the Antichrist. God can stop all of that and just decide to do none of it. And you're so hung on prophecy that you have made prophecy your God. Let that resonate. I know it hurts, don't it? It hurts the evil people. That's all it should be hurting. Or the people that think they're evil. They're just sassy. They're not evil. Where they're sassy, to me, they're not evil. You're just an American sassy person. But see, you Christian Americans, you American Christians, you think that you can say, well, God is going to do this prophecy and that's just how it is. Well, what really is how it is God is God. He doesn't have to explain anything to you for why he didn't do it. He doesn't have to tell you or report to you about what he does do and he doesn't do. right or wrong. And you don't have enough scriptures to outweigh that perspective in reality. God is God, bottom line. And if he decides to do whatever he wants to do, however he wants to do it, if he decides to change his mind, he can. If he decides to change his decisions just to destroy an arrogant country that think it runs the world and runs God's kingdom and wants to fight God's kingdom, I have faith that God can say, you know what? Prophecy is off right now. I'm taking care of America. I know. Because see, what you American Christians don't realize is, like I said, the people that create these negative equations and negative sum totals, they're depending on, like a bank, or a loan or a bank loan. They're depending on the Antichrist and the mark of the beast system to bail them out of their negative debts. Now you understand the spiritual mathematics of it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so God can say, you know what? You're not going to get that loan, and the Antichrist is not going to bail you out. Man, that's good. The mark of the beast system is not going to bail you out because you really kept everybody in poverty. That's why you got it down. That's why you're willing to depend on the mark of the beast system, because you're not getting positive things happening to your economy because you're not fair in your economy. So therefore, all your negative sum totals, you decide to depend on, as far as the future, the mark of the beast system. But God can say, you know what? None of that's going to happen. Just because you depended on it. Like, we not smart enough to see that. You're waiting for it to bail you out of your negative equations and sum totals. And you're not coming out. You're just going to get what you deserve. We're going to sit back and watch you get what you deserve, and I'm going to be here when you're dead. When you leave, I'll be here. That's part of the equation that you can't stop in sum total. That you can't stop, buddy. Because God is in that equation. That's why. And when he's in the equation, you can die right now. You can die right now. Okay? You see, you thought you was on my level and you're not. I just broke down real spiritual mathematics. You explained it that way. In other words, well, if you don't believe in them, people can break this down another way, and you know it and I know it. Same thing. It comes right back to what I'm saying. You put all this out, the people that's involved, you put all this out, you're going to get a negative sum total. That's the bottom line. You're going to get it. And the people that brought about the sum total are obviously the people in the equation, the problem that needs to be solved. You're the reason why we're getting this sum total. You're the danger to our society. The Freemasons and the Illuminati. That's based on your actions. Not my assumption. I now have actions that you've done that proves that you're the reason why we have this sum total that we have right now. Who else is doing it? Who else is bringing this evil on us? It's them. It's obvious. All right, they're doing all this stuff, right? You don't think something's supposed to happen? All this big, massive something's supposed to happen? It's common sense according to equations. You deal with big numbers, you get big problems. You deal with big numbers, you get what? Big sum totals. Most of the times you do. They may be in the positive or the negative, but when you're dealing with big numbers, you know the danger with that? Let me tell you something, Illuminati Freemasons. You know the danger with using a lot of people is that you get a lot of problems in the end. And that's where you lose. I know it's not for free. Now you know. And it's a little too late to know. We just making sure you know how defeated you are. And that's that. I'm stating the obvious, in other words. The obvious to me. It's the obvious to me. When you're suffering and you can't seem to get out of it, looks like some negative equation has been put out into the universe. It look like some negative sum totals have come back into the earth realm just for you. Yeah, anybody could tell you this, see what this is. And you talk about I'm a danger to your community. You're lying. You're lying. Why don't you be a man and take responsibility for what you've done? That's what makes you a coward to me. And I don't care if you're a secret society. I don't care if you're open society, open to the public society. I don't care what kind of society you are. In the real world, there are either cowards or brave men. I don't care what you call yourself. If you're here in this world where we live at, and you're not in the alien world, see the thing about these people, they think they can sit back and hide behind alter uh, beings. You're a human being, and there's certain principles we go by. And if riding around does not make you brave, you know what makes you brave is realizing the Illuminati and Freemasons that you are the equation that gave us this negative COVID sum total. COVID is because of you. Monkeypox because of you. People killing their own kids because of you. Most of the gigantic evils, those big negative sum totals, those gigantic ones, are because of you. It ain't got nothing to do with me. So I made this video to let you know, keep my name out your mouth. In other words, keep me out of any equation and out of any sum total that you're communicating to other people. You're the reason why all of this has happened. Everything that you're telling other people that I am, that's what you are. You are an end to this society. You are the end of this society. You probably sat around and thought about yourself and then try to blame me for it. Well, you had to at some point realize that probably it's because of you all of this is happening. And that would make one perceive themselves as the danger to society. You probably walk around feeling that way. Well, if you're a regular human, you're doing crazy stuff. You would start to feel like you're the one that's the danger. Like you're the one that's the problem. Like you're the one that caused all of this to happen to all of us. Ain't no way in the world you're going to sit up. I'm going to let you sit up and put one man in an equation as the sum total, negative sum total that you have in your society. I'm not going to let you do that. But it does make sense. I can have a detective listen to this part and it'll be over. It does make sense that through all your actions throughout all the country, not just here in New York, in California, all the stuff you was doing there, all the stuff you was doing in Florida, all the stuff you've been doing in the culture and in the music, all that you've been doing has led up to, first of all, an equation. And those elements within that equation is you gang stalking, trying to character assassinate, harming, badgering innocent people with illegal surveillance. This in different states, in different cities. All of that, all of this illegal surveillance without any evidence, without any tangible outward audios or videos or whatever you're talking about. It led to a catastrophic explosion in the spiritual world of you reaping what you sowed, you getting what you deserve. And that's why you have the negative sum total of COVID, monkeypox, mass shootings, inflation, gas prices. See how all those sum totals are coming back so quickly? Because of what you're doing so quickly. Also, the time frames of equations and sum totals are very significant. Look at the equations, right, that I showed you. Look at the time, look at the sum totals, all the sum totals, right? Look at the time frame between the sum totals. Let me let that resonate. Look at how quick these sum totals are coming back in one time frame. Can you go to the 90s and see sum totals coming together as it is now in the same time frame? Can you do it in any other place and time? What I challenge you to do is to find me a place and time where all sum negative sum totals in America was coming back all within a certain season. Safe to say the same season in our history. Show me another history season in your history in of America where negative sum totals were coming back to back in the same season in your history. You can't do it, can you? What that means is automatically your community has been doing something it wasn't doing before. Let me let that resonate. It's been doing something it hasn't been doing before. Why are you getting what you're getting then? Because you only get the same thing most of the times when you do the same thing, right? So then that means you were doing something differently. And it supports my perspective on it and observation on it that your country tried to do some innovative blood sport psychological game like they're Rome, like Rome. They tried to be Rome, Italy, Rome, and it backfired. God didn't allow you to act like you was have vacationing in